Hi, this is Paul from Outerloop Coaching and OuterloopCoaching.com. I'm with you in this video to talk about 9, not 1, not 2, not 3, 9 reasons not to sign to that label. Now, I hope you get to that point where a label is like, man, we need you. We need you to sign the contract, I want you to go through all 9 of these reasons before you put your name down in cursive at the bottom. All right, number 1, this one's huge. When other artists on the label currently or in the relatively recent past tell you no, do not sign. Now, what does this mean? That means you got to get on the phone, man. You got to start sending some emails. You got to DM and get in contact with some people who used to be on the label relatively recently and they're gone, or people who are on the label currently. Find out, hey, man, what happened? What happened? And if what do you like it? Would you do it again? What mistakes did you go through? You should be asking these questions. They will tell you. They will be candid. They might not do it in writing. They might be willing to get on the phone and talk it out. And hey, man, you're not recording this, are you? And tell you. You have to ask, do due diligence, and talk to artists who are on the label or recently off. Number two is when your lawyer says no. What does that mean? That means you better have a lawyer. You gotta find an experienced music industry attorney. Don't let anybody, including the label, tell you to not have an experienced music industry attorney telling you yes, no, what, do this, let's take that out, let's go back. Get that advice. It's worth the money. And I know it's expensive. Gosh darn it, everything's expensive. What are you going to do? Just get the attorney, all right? Get the attorney. And don't use the same attorney the label's got. Ugh, that'd be a nightmare. Number 3, label wants income for stuff that they're not going to provide any value to you for. This usually happens with the 360 deal, right? When they're like, "Hey, man, we're gonna promote the snot out of your album, so we want a percentage of that." Okay, and we're gonna be doing all this social media stuff to promote your Spotify, so we want some of the piece of your streaming. Okay, now when they go, "Hey, and we want part of your booking," all right. Well, what are you doing for the booking? What are you guys doing to promote the booking? What are you gonna help? How are you gonna get it so that when I'm playing, I'm going to get the back end deal that, like I'm going to get better guarantees. What are you doing to make that happen? And no, you're not going to get, you'll get some gigs just because you're on such and such label or whatever. But you need more than that. They have to be working for you for everything. Are they doing anything for your merch? Are they going to help drop ship it to different venues? And they going to score you a deal with a merchandiser, third-party merchandiser, so you don't have to think about it anymore? Well, all right. Now you guys can have a piece of my merch. But unless you're doing stuff like that, no, don't give them a piece of it. And if they're asking and demanding it, too bad. You guys do the work and put it in the contract. What are you going to do to earn that piece of my income? Number 4, when they make promises they can't fulfill. This is a big one, right? They're going to they're buttering you up. They're trying to tell you why it's going to be so great. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And when you know they can't fulfill the promise, sometimes they get excited, and you can ask them, "You sure you're going to do this?" Give them a chance to go, "Well, all right, no, I was just buttering you up, But when they actually tell you something and they stick to it, they stick to the guns. No, we're going to do this. And it's a lie. Do not sign the contract. I don't care how small it is. Do not sign the contract. You're going to get lied to for the rest of your career on that label. Number 5. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here because I can't remember 9 things. When they don't ask you what you want out of your career. Now, why is this important? It's because when they are thinking only about themselves and how you are going to help them, then they won't ask you about your opinion on your career, what you want to have happen, what you want to aspire to, what you see as the future of what you do in music. When they are thinking solely about how you are going to make it more money for the label, or you're going to, you're going to look great on the poster, whatever it is, right? If they're not asking you what you want for your career, they have an idea what they want for your career. And those two things may not be the same thing. And if they're not asking you, it almost definitely won't be the same thing. This can be a long relationship. Now, if it's a one-shot deal, so be it. But if you're signing a contract for multiple albums, this is going to be the next 5, 8, 10, 12, 15 years of your life. Well, come on, man. Like, you have to know what it is that you want to have happen over that time period. And you got to be able to tell them what that is, and they got to be on board with it. But the most important part of that is they have to ask you what you want for your career. All right, number 6. You can't figure out what they'll do better than you. All right, so like, I know how like early stage of the career, right? You are your booking agent, you're your manager, you're your publicist, you're your social media director. You're doing everything. You're getting paid squat for it, right? You're working your ass off. You're your own label half the time, right? So now you're trying to get signed. But all this time that you've spent being your own manager, being your own publicist, all that, you got good at some stuff, right? And if you figure out that you're better at all those things than they are, well, then screw them, man. Unless they're giving you a big upfront advance and it's worth it to you to just get that advance money, don't sign, man. Start your own record label if you're better than they are at everything. So, like, they have to have expertise. That's part of the value that they're bringing to you is expertise. But if it's somebody who just yesterday woke up and said, hey, I want to start a record label and I'm going to sign them. Well, if they're no good at anything, they're only going to drag you down. All the things that you do really well, just independently, just doing your own thing, waking up in the morning and going, this is what I'm going to do for my career today. All that goes away when you sign, because now when you go to them and you say, hey, I'm going to do this thing for YouTube or for flyers or whatever it is, they're going to go, we got to take a look at that first. Man, that's going to drag you down. And when they suck at it, now you got to clean up their mess. Screw it. Walk away. All right. Number 7, they're asking for changes and you haven't even signed yet. Right? Every label's got advice, especially when they're an experienced label. It's part of the value, man, is that they're going to have people who've been doing this for years and years. They know their stuff, and, you know, like there's stuff that you think in your gut might be right, but maybe you're unsure. Sometimes it's a great idea, but sometimes you're like, having a team of people who've been through this sort of thing before. I've seen others who can't succeed or haven't been able to succeed at it and all that stuff. When it fits in your grand plan that I was talking about earlier, what you see for your career, and there's things that you're unsure about along the way, you are going to ask for advice. And some of that advice might result in changes. Sometimes those changes will be things that you're kind of like, maybe. Right? Maybe. But if you're sitting down, you haven't even signed the contract yet, and they're like, okay, we're going to change this. We're going to change this about you. You know, we're going to bring in this producer with a total different sound, total different take. And they're making changes you haven't even signed the contract for it. When you don't like the sound of it, if it just feels funny, sometimes it's exciting, and that excitement of getting signed covers up for everything. Just run away from the deal, man. Just run away. Number 8, they won't do anything better than you. No, you can't figure out what they'll do, right? Like, hey, are you guys doing internal publicity for the release? No. Are you hiring a third party? No. All right, so who's doing publicity? Am I doing the social media for myself, or are you guys doing it? Yeah, you can do the social media. What is it that you guys do? What's the label doing? Right? Oh, we're going to manufacture CDs. I can do that. That's a phone call, right? You got to be able to get from the label, preferably in writing, what is it that they do? Some labels do everything. They are so good at it. And they got experienced and passionate people on staff who they wake up in the morning. They're not thinking about your band. They're thinking about your band on Instagram. That's their thing, man. That's the people you want. You don't want a label, and there are some where they just they call up the manufacturer, make some CDs. They call up the digital distributor, make sure your stuff goes on Spotify, and about 80% of the time it's there when it's supposed to be. Other than that, nothing else, right? Like, that's lame. You don't need it, right? Don't need it. So number 9, Last one, your gut, right? Your gut is the best. Your gut will tell you when it is right and when it is wrong better than anybody, better than the attorney, better than the people already signed the label, all this stuff. But you have to be able to trust your gut. I swear to God, there are things that you're going to smell and see, and your conscious brain doesn't even register, but your subconscious, which is your gut, is going to go, something funny. Something's funny. I don't know what it is, but it's small things. It's unconscious stuff, man. And you're going to go, oh, something's up here. I don't know what it is, but it's not right. Walk away. Now, here's the other thing about walking away from a label deal. You can walk away from it and you can come back to it another time. You might have to start from scratch. It might be hard, all that stuff, but it will be worth it. Trust me, you sign a bad deal. Bad deals kill careers over again. And if it's your first label signing, it better be a good one, because that is going to be able to make it so that you can survive to the next deal, which is going to be better than the first, and so on and so forth. If you sign to a bad deal at the front, it's going to take a long time to get your ass out of it. All right, Paul from Outerloop Coaching, and I'll see you guys next time.